Hello Flosstube, it is Thursday the 27th of October. I'm Sarah and you're very welcome to my channel Sew Me Sarah. This is a channel where I chat all about my cross stitch and sometimes some other needle crafts, although they seem to have been left well in the past. Hopefully in 2023 some of those other needle crafts will make a resurgence, but for now it's all about the cross stitch here. So if you are new here, then thank you for giving the channel a try. I hope that you will enjoy your time with me, and I hope that you'll hang around to see everything I have to show and to share. And if you would like to come back, then please hit the subscribe button and we'll see you again another time. If you're already one of those subscribers, then you know how much I appreciate you. I appreciate the community that you have helped me to build here on Flosstube, and I am thankful for each and every one of you. So, since the last time, I always feel like I should start by saying it's 3 weeks since my last confession. It feels a little bit like that when you start, but it has been almost 3 weeks. I think it will be 3 weeks tomorrow. And I have done quite a bit of stitching. I've been hopping about across projects, so I've got quite a bit to show you. There hasn't been a lot of excitement in life, it's just trundling on, so there's not really much of life updates to share with you. You can hear that I've got a cold, my ears are a bit funny tonight, so I'm hoping my voice will hold out. Maybe not for the entire video, but I have a trusty glass of water just at hand, and I'm hoping that I can make it through this video to share with you, because I really wanted to come back and share. 3 weeks is kind of long. I enjoy coming back about fortnightly, but just haven't been able to make that schedule lately. So I have been catching up on my favorite floss tubers. I had gotten very far behind. I have been catching up and I've been enjoying that, and I'm sure you all watch lots of the folks that I watch too. One of the people that I have been watching for a very long time, and I'm not sure if I've ever actually given her a shout out here on the channel, but she is Helen D. And I think if you're not watching her, you should be. Helen is a fantastic stitcher and she is a fantastic finisher, and she's very generous in sharing lots of video tutorials on how to finish items, and she's got lots on how to finish berries, and adding chenille is a recent video tutorial that she has. So she has lots. I have lots of those to catch up with, but I do really enjoy spending time with Helen. So if I haven't shared that one with you before, or it's new to you, please do go and have a look at Helen's YouTube channel. I will link her in the show notes below. I found 2 new floss tubers in the last couple of weeks that I really loved, and I wanted to share them with you so that you can go and have a look and see what you think. And if you like them, then give them a boost too. Tell them I sent you and subscribe to their channel. I really don't think they need my help in gaining subscribers, because I think that Flosstube will really take to them. One is a New Zealand stitcher, and she was recommended by Judy from an Aussie and a Kiwi world. And her name is Alyx, A-L-Y-X, and her channel is called Chasing Alyx. She is very artistic and very enthusiastic, and I just loved it. I loved watching Alyx, and I can't wait for more. I think she has 3 or 4 videos now. I think they both do actually. At the time they were really just brand new. They had 1 video, but it's been a couple of weeks since I've been back to you. So they have a few other videos out now. They means I have another one, and that other person to share with you is Kelsey, and she is on a channel called Kelsey Lee and Things. And lots of you always comment and say how calming my voice is, and that you come here to the channel because you love that. Well, if you love my calm voice, you're going to love Kelsey Lee. So go and say hi to Kelsey. Kelsey is a new stitcher. I think she has 3 videos out now. On her first one, which was just posted a couple of weeks ago, she said she'd been stitching for a week and a half. she'd been stitching for a week and a half when she recorded the video. Then I think she was, if I'm remembering correctly, I think she was afraid to post it. She didn't have the courage to post her video. So it was another few weeks before she posted her video. So by the time she actually posted video number 1, she had only been stitching for about a month. So she's new to stitching and she's very new to Flosstube. And it's really, really fun to watch her journey as a new person coming along, both to the craft and to the social media side of the craft. Her USP, if you like, is that she is a thrifty stitcher. She doesn't have a big budget and she looks for free patterns and she looks for thrifty ways to do her finishes. And she's obviously learning more about finishes with every Flosstube that she watches. I think Flosstube is going to love her. She's already over 1,000 subscribers. That's not a surprise to me. So I think that a lot of my viewers will enjoy Kelsey Lee as well. So please go and say hi and give both Alyx and Kelsey Lee a little bit of Flosstube love, because you're all very good at that. And it's very encouraging for new Flosstubers to have some comments and feedback about what you enjoy on their channel. So go and watch them and you won't be sorry. So the last time I had some Shareaways, I called them Shareaways because I was passed along some charts that I could give to you. So I'm going to announce those now. I'm trying to reach, excuse me. There's a lot in front of me today. So some things are just out of reach. So just before I announce these, I have an apology to make. I have a screenshot of the first and the last winner, and the two in between. Something went wrong with my screenshot, so I don't have the screenshot proof, but I hope that you'll trust me and know that those folks won the giveaway, the Shareaway, which was chosen by the YouTube random comment picker. So I'm sorry that I don't have them. The picture, I'm not quite sure what went wrong, but I didn't screenshot them properly and I don't have them. Anyway, first up, I was going to share Frances 1863. That is the gorgeous little rabbit, and that's a la-di-da pattern. Rabbit was the magic word for this one, and there were 48 of you interested in winning Frances, and the winner is Stitchin' Darlene. So Stitchin' Darlene, I know that you won something from me recently, but if you could just send me your address again in case I can't find it, that would be really helpful. So use Instagram, private messaging, and I'm So Me Sarah there, or use the email address that's in the drop down below just to contact me and send me your address. So congratulations on another win. Then we had 2 Halloween charts. One was Teresa Cogut's Snarky Cat, and the second one was this gorgeous one with all these Playing with Jacks, the pumpkins by the Cricket Collection. And these were won by Kerry Park. So another familiar name. Kerry, please drop me your address just to confirm that I have it right, and I will pop these in the post to you. This is a Shareaway announcement of lots of folks who have won from me before. So it's nice to see the repeats, and it is possible to win twice, so don't give up. And also, just so you know, there are 3,300 odd subscribers to this channel, and the entries to the Shareaways have much better odds than that. So the first one, the Frances one, there were 48 entries. For the pumpkins, there were 83 entries. For the next one, which is Christmas Baubles and Deck the Halls, these beautiful Satsuma Street patterns, there were 54 entries. Those are good odds, you know, 1 in 54 chance of winning. Those are good odds, you guys should enter. The winner of these 2 patterns was Jane Panovich. Jane, I know you won a long time ago, but if you can resend me your address, I will get these out to you shortly. And the final Shareaway was a kit with all the threads and the fabric, and it's my craft room, and it is an Ursula Michael kit. And there were 20 entries for this one, so very good odds on this one. And the winner is Jean Mansfield. Jean, I think you won my very first giveaway, one that Charlotte announced way back when. So Jean, send me your address again and I will pop this in the post to you. So congratulations to all of you, and I hope that the statistics encourage some of you who haven't tried to win before to have a go. I am usually always happy to post internationally. I don't think I've ever not posted internationally. So there are good odds and I'm happy to send. Okay, let's talk some stitching. I have 3 fully finished framed items to share with you. Last time I talked to you about the custom frames that I had made by Picture Frames Express. I think it's pictureframesexpress.co.uk. I'll link them below. And I had 3 more that I hadn't framed, so I showed you 2 last time and I had 3 more this time. The first one is the Black Sampler 2021 by, oops, try and get it in. Black Sampler 2021 by Whilst Iris Nabs. This is Christina's pattern that she released for Black Sampler November last year. I stitched it on a linen, 32 count linen in aqua, I think. It's a very pale blue, you can't really tell here. And I stitched it with a variegated DMC. If you're interested and need to know the specifics, please ask, because I've just gone completely blank. But it is 1 DMC thread and it variegates from quite dark charcoal black to a very pale dove grey, and I loved it. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I'm very happy with the frame. This is very long and skinny. There was no chance of me finding a frame ready-made for this one, so I did custom framing order, and it just has plexiglass on it, but it's a very nice quality plexiglass, and you can always leave that out if you didn't want to put it into your order. I'm really happy with the frame. It's like a grained grey. I don't know if I can show you it very well. That's maybe a better view of it there. So I'm watching my face and I'm screwing my eyes up. These will be the shots that YouTube takes for my thumbnail picture. It's always, I've got my mouth open. I have always got a really stupid expression on my face on those shots. So I need to be expressionless and hold things still for a while to see if we can actually one day get a decent one. Anyway, back to the frame, which is what you're really interested in. I hope you can see that there's a nice wood grain effect on that grey frame. So I'm really, really chuffed with this one. I'm delighted to have it finished and ready to hang. And I'm not sure if I'm going to stitch Black Sampler November this year. Not because I don't want to, but because I've got enough to be getting on with. So anyone who does want to stitch Black Sampler November, sorry, this is a really good pattern. It doesn't take forever. It's really nice, it's beautifully designed, and it's by Whilst Iris Nabs. I will link that below if you are interested. You can get that as a PDF copy from her website. My next fully finished is What Remains by Blackbird Designs. I stitched this one as part of this Stitch Along, the Sal, A Mother's Love Sal on Instagram. And I am really pleased with the frame that I chose. I hope you can see without too much glare. It is hard to choose frames online, and this was the first time I've done it, but actually I'm really, really pleased. There are Zoom functions online, and I think it was reasonably representative, you know, reasonably good representation of what was coming. So it is just hard online to be sure that your stitching will suit it, but I'm really pleased with this, and I'm really pleased with how I managed to get it pretty good in terms of being straight laced into the frame there. I did lace these all myself, and I'm learning more and getting slightly better each time. I do think sometimes it just depends on the linen though. So anyway, that is my what remains fully finished. I'm so happy with that one. And then the last one that I had purchased a frame for is Clara Hansen, and this is a pattern by Hello from Liz Matthews. I did this as a stitch along with Kim Goldman, and Kim stitched hers on a 56 count, I think. Hers was stitchy tiny, and she stitched in silk. Hers was beautiful. I stitched this. I used a DMC thread, which I thought was closer to the representation of the picture on the pattern. I think it's 597. If anyone is interested, get in touch with me and I can clarify that for you. I think it was 597. This to me is the colour that it looked like on the pattern, and when I pulled the DMCs that the pattern recommended, they were very green rather than aqua turquoise shades. Anyway, I chose a very plain oak frame. Oh, sorry for bumping. A very plain oak frame for this. It's not quite square and it's very tight in the frame, so I'm not sure if I didn't get my measurements just quite correct, but it doesn't actually cut anything off, so I'm happy enough. Given that I'm novice at this custom frame ordering. What I did though, I think, is mix my dimensions up, and I've given the height and width perhaps in the wrong order, and so I've got the hanger on the side, so I really need a hanger up here, so I'll have to do something about that, but that's an easy fix really. So there we go, those are my 3 fully finished and framed objects, and I'm really happy to be able to hang them now in the house. Okay, next I have a little group of starts and finishes. They're small, which is why they're starts and finishes in the period of time that I have been away. So last time I showed you that I had stitched one of the Lizzie Kate mini stockings, the Flora Mix sample stockings, and since then I have stitched another 2. And excuse me, I'm taking them out because there's quite a lot of light and the glare will be right. So I've been using these patterns. These are Lizzie Kate Flora Mix samples stockings 2014 and 2015. Last time I showed you this one here, this Silent Night, and since I was last with you, I have stitched 3 more. I've stitched this one, Unto You, Love Came Down at Christmas, and Joy to the World. And here they are. So I'm really pleased with these. I have a feeling that this one is going to get chopped off whenever we actually take a stocking shape around it, but the pattern did include all of that stitching. So that's 3. I want to make 5 altogether. These are for gifts, so I have 4 now. And I've started the 5th one, so I'll show you that in a moment. Not that there's very much to see, but I have started the 5th one. And then when they're all finished, the stitching's finished, I will make them into stockings, hopefully, all in one batch at some point, and they should be ready then for little Christmas gifts for some friends. So happy with how those have come out. I'll show you them a little bit closer up in case you're interested. These patterns are available on 123 Stitch, which is where I got them. They have the license for all of the Lizzie Kate patterns. So those were starts and finishes in the last couple of weeks. And then having absolutely no business whatsoever to go and buy a new chart and start and finish something else. I did it regardless. I was watching Darlene Dion on her Flosstube channel, Darlene Dion Designs. And well, actually, I that's not quite right. I was watching her, but where I saw this was on her Instagram, and she had released a couple of patterns to do with home and being at home. And I really resonated with the idea. I am a home bird. I've told you that before. I love being at home in my home. My home is my safe space. And there was one of the patterns I just couldn't resist, and it was this one, Let's Stay Home. And that's available on Darlene Dion Designs Etsy shop. And it was a very nice, quick little stitch. And you can see, sorry, I cut because of a cough there. But you can see I've made an error when measuring and working out what fabric to use. I did just want a 1-inch border because I'm going to make them into pillows. So it's not that I started in the wrong place. I think I've just overall miscalculated. I'm not quite sure how I did that or what I did, but anyway, at least the error was on the right side and it wasn't too small. So I love this stitch. I love the colors. I used the called for colors for everything except the little brown apex on the roof of the little cabin, little house cabin. I used a different brown just because it's the only place where that color was used and I didn't have the called for. So I just used a slightly different shade of brown, but everything else is as called for. And Darlene, it was a gorgeous little chart to stitch. So thank you for that. I know you have since shown them on a subsequent episode of your Flosstube along with your other releases. So I hope people will go and have a look at that and go and check out your Etsy shop too. And then my biggest finish, in the sense of the biggest pattern finish, is this one, Gather Here with Grateful Hearts by Hello from Liz Matthews. This has been my daily thread stitch for a couple of months, for September and October. And it really helped me to get on and progress it and get it finished. Now, when I was starting the letters, I had a little look and realized that up here I had forgotten a couple of leaves. So it was a good job I checked. But this is a finish that I adore. I have a vision to finish this very simply by mounting it on a piece of wood of some kind, so I will need to keep an eye out for something suitable. I want to mount it on top of a piece of wood rather than actually have it framed, and I'm hoping to hang it just over on that wall over there, which is just the side of our dining table, because I'm sitting here at our dining table. So I would like that sentiment, Gather Here with Grateful Hearts, to be in our dining area. I love this pattern. I loved it the moment that I saw it. It reminds me always of some kind of woodcut, wood print pattern. I don't know why, but it does, and I just love the simplicity of it, the lines, and I'm very happy with the color I chose. This grey Murano, and Glacial Melt is the thread. I think it's a week's, but again I can confirm. I'm really sorry, my head is fuzzed today. But if you want to know, please ask and I will tell you. So that is my finish of Gather Here. Those are all of the finishes and the fully finishes. I then hopped about my whips a bit in the last few weeks and made some progress on things unseen. So when you last saw this, I had up to here this bee scene. I had, this is part one here really, okay, this section. And I had stitched all of this bit here. So I have now stitched in this bit and I'll show you. Ta-da! So as I said, I think I had bee seen, but not or even. And then I have stitched in here. Now I made a mistake in my thread. On this flower, the cream should be this more dull cream color. And I used the brighter cream color, but I'm not unpicking it. I don't think it matters enough. It certainly doesn't matter enough to me. So I'm really happy with the progress. The first part, so part one, this was a mystery pattern and it came out in 3 parts, and you can still get it on 1, 2, 3 stitch, and you have to buy all 3 parts. The picture is only on the 3rd part, but it's in this pattern. In part 3 you only get the, in part 3 you only get the part 3 chart. You don't get part 1 and part 2. So if you are interested in this, make sure you buy parts 1 and 2 and 3. And why am I telling you this? Folks, it's late at night, I have a head full of cold, and I am of a certain age. Yes, I'm telling you this because this area here is part 1. I haven't quite finished part 1, but nearly. So it will be in my plans to get part 1 finished by the end of the year. I'm not pushing for a full finish this year, but if I could finish part 1, I don't think I'm too far from a finish on part 1, and that would be a nice place to leave it to carry over into 2023. Next up for a little bit of progress is Hive Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitchers. So when you last saw this, I had reached the Always and Be sections, and I have now added Humble and Kind. So always be humble and kind, and I've added in obviously these gorgeous little beehives. So I'm making good progress. I think there are a further 2 sections of the chart that I need to finish off. That kind of hold one thing at a time, it might help. This kind of dividing line, and then there are 2 further sections of the chart. I still love this one. I'm stitching on 25 count Lugana. It is by Swagart and it's vintage sand, and I'm stitching 2/2, and I love the look that you get. It is going to make it very big, obviously, but I love it. And it's a really fun piece to stitch. It's a nice one for when you're tired because the chart is very kind to your eyes. And obviously with this larger count of fabric, then that is also kind on tired eyes. So that's a little bit of progress on Hive Rules. And then you haven't seen this one for quite some time, but this is a square tile motif cross stitch. This is not the title of it by the seller. This is what I have titled it. So I made a mock-up cover because the PDF chart from the seller didn't come with a cover. It is available on Etsy, and it is by 2x2 stitch art. I'll hold it up a little bit closer so you can see, and I will link it below. It's a beautiful geometric pattern, and there are lots of these on this particular seller's site. Some are 5x5. This one is 7x7, And as I said, I think it has got a sampler number. It's not on here, but her samplers are kind of numbered instead of named. So anyway, I just gave this one a title when I mocked up a cover page for my project bag so that I could tell what was in the project bag. Last time you saw it, I had, I think, 4 of these boxes filled in, and I have done a little bit more work. When I picked this up, I had to complete the second row of borders, and then I have filled in these centers. I have made a decision on this one. I love it. I love the pattern. Really love the pattern, but I really love everything else that I have to do as well, and all of the things in my stash. And I think I'm just going to call this one quits at 2 rows. So the reason this box isn't filled in is because when I decided that I was only going to stitch the 2 rows, I decided that this particular one I might replace, the one that's on the pattern, I might replace with one of the others that, you know, more of a favorite. So for these remaining blocks, I might choose some of my favorites from this bottom section of the chart that I am now not intending to stitch, if that makes sense. So you can see I haven't finished this one. I'm enjoying that one. I like stitching it. I've liked stitching them all. I really enjoy the geometry on this, the symmetry and the pattern and the design, but I have just decided that I no longer want to have the 7x7 as much as I want to have some other starts on some other things. So I'm going to take this panel off and I'll use it somehow. I might frame it, I might mount it, I might make it into a project bag panel. We'll see what happens. I'm still enjoying it. Every time I touch it, I love it. I really enjoy it. But there is so much else going on that I don't come back to it very often. So when I was reviewing all of the things on my WIP list, which I'll talk a little bit about in plans, I did decide that this one I will cut short and it will be a finish for me, I hope, just at the 2 rows. But anyway, I have really enjoyed this. This is being stitched on an 18 count Aida, and I am using a DMC floss, which I haven't written down here. Oh, I do, 3810. 3810 is the DMC floss. It's not showing up true. Here it's looking much darker. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a good colour on this tonight. Maybe that's a little bit closer, but it's still not perfect. Anyway, I love it. It's a beautiful design. It's a lovely chart. I'm just not going to stitch all of it anymore. I have a tiny bit of progress on my Dimensions Oh Holy Night Advent calendar. This, as you know, is my oldest WIP, 2006, but don't say it out too loud. Okay, and I'm working on this top section at the moment. I didn't, the nights that I had scheduled to stitch this, I didn't, I went to bed early. And all I have managed to do is fill in the lamb's face and ears and start this brown piece here, which is another little critter, like a, maybe a squirrel with that tail, maybe. So I made a start here on that. So it's a little bit of progress, and every little bit counts. It's clearly not going to be ready for this Christmas, but I never really thought it would be after all this time. But a little bit of progress is still good. And then for the biggie, the biggie is Modern Folk Embroideries, a family patchwork sampler. And I think I keep referring to this as a family portrait. I have no idea why. I've written it in in my plan, in my notebook as a family portrait a lot of times too. Anyway, it is actually called a family patchwork sampler. And this is a gorgeous design by Jacob. So last time I showed it to you, I was working on this centerpiece, this big central square that's set on point. I hadn't quite finished this side of it. Oops, sorry. I hadn't quite finished this side of it. I had a little bit down here at the bottom to complete. So I've done that now. And then I have come over here, started over here, and I'm trying to work across. So this is a 12-part design. It was released monthly back in 2020. I started it in 2021. So you have 4 months across the top, 4 months across and 3 months down. So I've completed pages 1 to 4. This will be page 5. And then page 6 crosses over here to the middle somewhere and down here a little bit. And then my plan will be to take this on into page 7, I hope. So something like about there. And if I could achieve that this year, I would be really happy with that. So I'm currently working on this big house. Let's see if I can show you on the pattern. It's this one. And you can see all those windows. All of those windows when you don't want your threads to travel behind. That's a lot of start and stop stitching. So that's going to take me a little while. But I still love this, and every time I pick it up, I adore stitching on it. So this is a real labor of love. It's humongous and it is just such a pleasure. So if you are on the fence about it, I heartily recommend the pattern. Jacob's patterns are fabulous. They're big, this one, and they're not all big, but this one is big. But there's no rush. So it would be nice to finish this next year, and I think that's why I'm talking myself into finishing page 7. Then I'm not holding things very well tonight. Finish page 7, then I have crossed the halfway mark and hopefully could finish this across next year's stitching plans. That's a family patchwork sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. And then the last whip that I picked up is Glitter Village, and that is a series of 9 charts by Cottage Needleworks. This one is chart number 3, house number 3, and this is where I'm at. So since I showed it to you last, I have finished house number 2, which is the pink one in the center there, and I have made a start on house number 3. I love this, but I still struggle a little bit with the glitter fabric. I did discuss ways that I make it a little bit easier to stitch, put it in a hoop to open the holes a little bit. Don't have direct light shining on it because the reflection throws off my eye when I'm trying to find the hole for the stitching and that kind of thing. But I still love it. It's just slower. So I've decided to give myself the grace and not expect too much and just enjoy the stitch when I do pick it up. So that is a little bit of progress, not too much, but a little bit of progress on Glitter Village, and I'm on house number 3. I just have one more piece of stitching to share with you, and that one piece is another new start. And it is the 5th of the mini stockings. So it's not much of a start. It says Angels Sing. And this one is from the 2017 Lizzie Kate Florum Examples Treats, this one is called. and I am stitching the Hark stocking, so Hark the Herald Angels Sing. So that's where I got Angels Sing from. I had thought that I might stitch these ones, these Noel and Joyeux Noel cushions for myself, but I think I've now decided to just wait and not push any more new things this year, except for one more which you've already heard about, and I'll remind you in a moment if you can't remember. Yeah, so I've decided maybe just to leave those little cushions for another year for stitching for myself and just concentrate on the 5 little stockings that I want to gift to friends this year. So this will be the last one of those, and they take a couple of decent nights, so maybe 3 hours stitching, maybe taking about 6 hours to stitch one of these. So I don't know if that's slow or fast, but that's how long they're taking me anyway. So that is all of my current stitching, everything that I have worked on. You can see that I have hopped about quite a bit. I did work at getting those 3 pieces framed so that they can be on the wall and I can enjoy them, and that feels good to get them off the pile and just to be able to take pleasure in seeing them every day. So I'm looking forward to getting a hammer and the picture hooks out and creating some space on the walls for those this weekend. I have some plans going ahead. So it's hard to believe we're almost at November. It will be November on Tuesday. And so I have been going through my Sweet 16 board with thoughts of planning for the last couple of months of the year, for the last couple of months stitching, November and December. So in case you're new here, this is my Sweet 16 board. It is akin to the Whip Go board. You'll see and you'll recognize if you do Whip Go, I have adapted the Whip Go board, and I just decided, well, I didn't just decide, but I gave it some thought and reasoned that 16 projects is a good number for me. It's a good number of whips for me to have without feeling overwhelmed. And of course it was nice that that suits the term Sweet 16. It's my sweet spot of whips. Anymore and I'm overwhelmed and too few, and you know, there's not enough motivation sometimes, although sometimes there are less. So you can see at the moment I don't have all 16 blocks filled in. So I also took an idea that Ellie Stitches has, and she has a calendar of 30 days, and she has projects. She has 30 whips in her 30 days, and she tries not to go over that. It might be 31, but she tries not to go over that. And when she finishes one of the projects on her chart, then she'll put a sticker over it and she can have a new start. So that's why you see some things have been stickered out. So as I finish them, I'll sticker them over, and that means there's space for a new start. So you can see I already have 5 spaces available for new starts. I don't want to fill them just yet because as I looked at the projects that are on my board, I decided I want to try to focus on a couple of those to push them to finishes before the end of the year. And I had I looked at each of the projects and decided where I wanted to take them. Do I want to finish them? Do I want them to reach a particular point, like the Modern Folk Embroidery Salve 2020, that's the family patchwork, and I said I want to work to page 7 by the end of January. So I think that would be a good, by the end of December, that would be a good starting point then for taking the project on in to 2023. The next one is Things Unseen, and I'd like to finish that first page, so that first chart, I would like to get that completed, leaving me going into 2023 with parts 2 and 3 of that design. Next is the square tile motif sampler, and as I was thinking about that, I decided I would stop that at 2 rows. So that will hopefully be a completed project, as in completed the 2 rows, and I can sticker that one out and have another space for a new start. This one over here, the Oh Holy Night Advent Calendar, well, it's been around since 2006, so there's no point rushing things. It will be around for another while longer. My plan for it in November and December is to give it about 4 days each month, and just see where that takes me to. I'm not setting a goal as to where that needs to be. I'm just setting a time for that one. So hopefully I will get to stitch 4 evenings that month, in each month, November and December, for that one. Hive Rules is here, and I think I could finish it if I can get a little bit of dedicated time. I think that one could be a finish by the end of the year, so that's what I'm hoping for. Next, written in over my stickers is the Christmas mini stockings. So I've 4 of the 5 done, and I've started the 5th, and I'm hoping again that that one will be able to be completed because I want to gift them for Christmas presents. Beside that, we have Christmas Gingerbread Village, which you haven't seen for quite some time because I haven't touched it for quite some time. And my plan is to just leave that one now. I won't work on that one, and I will just let it go over into 2023 as it is, and hopefully pick it up more regularly than next year. It's a really nice chart, and yeah, I would really like to pick that one up again next year. Kindness Matters is a chart by Deb at Frog Cottage Designs. Again, I made a start on that one at some point this year. I didn't make a huge amount of progress on it, and I'm just going to leave it and pick it up again in January. What is this one? Alice in Wonderland. I would like to keep doing a little bit on Alice in Wonderland. So maybe a couple of nights, 3 or 4 nights in November and 3 or 4 in December, to see if I can just keep that one plugging along. That is my stitch along with my friend Kathleen. And then I have A Kiss for Snowman, which when I thought about this one, I really would like to finish it by the end of the year, but I have to be realistic. It's a Dimensions gold kit. It's very intense. It's very beautiful, but it is very intense, and I'm not convinced that I could get it done for this year. I'm not convinced I can get a finish. So I think, again, I will just allocate it a certain number of days in November and December, and that can be my goal for that one. And then the last project on my Sweet 16 at the moment is Glitter Village, and I'm happy to take Glitter Village to the end of the 3rd house. That's what I would like to achieve by the end of this year, is to take it to the 3rd house, and that'll leave me 6 houses to get on with next year. So I think, given how busy November and December are in terms of family and Christmas and other things happening, that's enough to be getting on with, and I'm hopeful for a couple more finishes. You know that I want to start A Saviour's Praise in December. It will be my birthday start. December is my birthday month. That chart was a gift for last Christmas, and I had hoped to start it in January. Then I hoped to start it in April for Easter, and then I hoped to start it in August, and I didn't. So I really would like to get it started for my birthday start in December. So I will add another one to this, but hopefully no more. And that will be all my plans. Isn't it a good job that tomorrow was my last day at one of my jobs? I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's a lot in all of that planning. But I'm looking forward to having some new starts, some available spots on my Sweet 16 board for new starts in 2023. I have some thoughts as to what that will be, and I will share those with you at another time. And I also have plans to do a stitch along with Joanita at Stitchy Things. Go to Joanita's channel, please subscribe and follow her because she's fabulous. She, especially if you like book talk too, books and movies, and her stitching is wonderful, and she is just the loveliest person. We had great fun this year doing the Gentle Rain stitch along together, and next year we have a plan, and I'm quite sure that many of you will have the chart that we are going to stitch next year. We're not going to tell you just yet, but we probably will next month. And we're going to stitch that together. Now we've decided that we won't do it as a new year, new start, so it won't happen on the 1st of January. I think we're thinking just a little bit later into the year, not too late, mid-February probably. And we would love it if some of you will join us, but we'll tell you a little bit more about that because there's plenty of time since we're not starting on the 1st of January. So we will keep you posted and hope that some of you will join us. My apologies, my voice is barely holding out, and another coughing spree, so you didn't want to hear that. Edit that out. I am looking forward to having some new projects introduced in 2023, as well as the stitch along. I've been thinking about what they should be. I am seriously considering a no pattern purchase in 2023, and this is something that Jessica at Sweetwater Stitcher has been querying as well. She's been wondering should she or shouldn't she, and I have been thinking about it also before I saw her quandary on and her queries on her video, but it is something I wondered about. And you know, I have a stash of patterns that's very healthy, and I bought them all because I want to see them stitched. I want to work on them. I want them in my home, or I want to gift them to other people, or so I had good reason for buying them. I don't tend to just buy willy-nilly. I actually do really want what I buy. And so if I keep doing that, I will never ever stitch the things that I have already, that I love already. So I'm really tempted to try a no pattern purchase for next year, or maybe some kind of, you know, at the end of every 3 months I can buy 2 patterns or something like that, just as a motivator to use what I already have. I already have some beautiful, beautiful charts. I have a number of them already kitted. So, you know, they're ready to go. I should really get on with them. So that's all going on in here. I haven't quite committed to that yet because I know it's a hard one to commit to, not purchasing whenever our designers are so good at bringing out beautiful designs to tempt us all the time. But mostly those designs can be got again later on, and maybe I could show a little bit of self-control and not over purchase next year. But anyway, we'll see if that really happens, or whether it's just a conversation we have today and we never hear about it again. But it is all in the mix of my thinking for 2023 stitching. I do have the opportunity to put some new projects into the Sweet 16 board, and I have so many beautiful, beautiful projects already, you know, the patterns already purchased, so I really should use those. So anyway, that's enough for now, I think. I hope to be back with you in a few weeks' time, and I want to say thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great couple of weeks stitching, and maybe in the comments below you will share with me what your stitching plans are for November, December, the rest of this year. Do you have plans? Do you just go with the flow? Do you stitch what you like? Is it sweewee they call it? Stitch what you want, when you want? Let me know in the comments below, and until I see you again, please, please stay well and stitch happy. Good night.